Hey guys, welcome back to another video, and in this video it's going to be a bit different to my normal content. I'm not going to be talking about the National League South, I'm actually going to be talking about Step 4 of non-league. That's it, the tier below the National League South and National League North, for example. We're going to be focusing on the Southern League Premier South, Southern League Premier Central, the Isthmian Premier League and the Northern Premier League in this video. So we're going to be going through all the promotion winners, all the automatic title winners, who's gone down, who's done well this season, and we're going to be summarising them all in this video. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. So we're going to begin with the Southern Premier South, and there are a lot of strong teams in this division. A lot of teams expect to be fighting it out for the title, and there was a little promotion, a big promotion battle going on between four teams at one point, between Weymouth, Taunton, Met Police and Salisbury. Those four teams were going at it. Either four of those teams could have won it at some point, but eventually it was Weymouth who showed their class and managed to win the title. And the final, it came down to them and Taunton on the final day in the end. Taunton were winning the title at one point, but Weymouth did turn it around and won their game, meaning they did win the title and the automatic promotion back to the National League South. As a result, Taunton had to settle for second place and playoffs, where they were joined by Met Police in third, Salisbury in fourth and Poole Town in fifth. Now Taunton went and took on Poole Town in fifth place, and Met Police obviously took on Salisbury Town, and the Met Police playoff game against Salisbury, was a real feisty and entertaining encounter at Invercourt. Met Police did, however, manage to run out 3-2 winners thanks to a Jack Mazzone double and Matt Blackmore goal in the second half. The two Mazzone goals in the first half were either side of Downing's goal to make it 1-1. So Met Police still leading in the 9th minute. Then Salisbury pegged them back just 3 minutes later before Mazzone's penalty on the stroke of half time put Met Police back in front. Blackmore then doubled Met Police's lead before a Benson goal for Salisbury made it 3-2, giving them a chance to get back into the game. They didn't, however, and Met Police managed to hold on and qualify for the playoff final. And in the other semi-final game taking place between Taunton Town and Poole Town, Poole managed to run out 4-3 winners on penalties after a 1-1 draw after extra. It was Poole that struck first though in the 42nd minute as Dixon put them in front, but just four minutes after the restart, Brett equalised for Taunton, making it 1-1. And that was the way it stayed throughout the rest of the game and throughout the rest of extra time, as neither side could find a breakthrough. But eventually it was Poole that won it on from the spot kicks after White's penalty for Taunton was missed, meaning Poole went forward to the playoff final to face Met Police. And an encounter that was fairly equal. Poole had a lot of chances that really could have killed the game off. Met Police took the game with a single goal, 1-0, thanks to Jack Mazzone goal again in the 72nd minute, and he was the one that was enough to win it for Met Police and send them through to the Super Playoff Finals. Yep, that's right, you heard me correct, because at this step of level of non-league, playoff winners don't automatically get promoted, which is a bit of a farce really, but I'll explain that in a bit, don't worry. So they went forward to the Super Playoff Final where they played Tunbridge Angels of the Isthmian Premier, and yeah, Met Police won it and they went through to the Super Playoffs. To just touch on the Super Playoffs thing then, so basically the FA have created a new division, so as a result of this, not all playoff winners can get promoted because there would be too many otherwise. So as a result, they go through to a Super Playoff after the playoff final to decide who goes up, and that was between. So the winners of the Southern League South will play the winners of the Isthmian League playoffs, and the winners of the Northern Premier League playoffs will play the winners of the Southern League Central playoffs to decide who goes up, one to the National North, one to the National South. And in the Super Playoff final, Met Police went up against Tunbridge Angels, but it was the away side, the Angels, that managed to run out 3-2 winners, and I'm actually really happy for them and their fans, because I'm actually a big fan of Tunbridge Fan TV's vlogs. I'll leave a link to his channel in the description. He makes really good quality vlogs. I'm looking forward to meeting up with him next season as well in the National South, so congratulations to Tunbridge and their fans, and welcome to the National South, along with Weymouth, of course. But in the game, it was a real topsy-turvy encounter, as it was Met Police that stuck first through Ethan Chislett after a brilliant strike from him. But it was Arthur Lee that equalised from his free kick, which crept in at the near post, meaning the Met Police keeper Shottle couldn't keep it out. Ollie Robertson did, however, give Met Police the lead again with a nice finish into the net in the 57th minute. And when it was looking like Met Police were going to hold on and look for an unbelievable and unlikely promotion to the National South, Deshaun Theobald went on an incredible run from near the halfway line to the edge of the box and finished brilliantly to bring the score level 5 minutes from time, meaning Tunbridge were back in the game well and truly. And from that point onwards, Tunbridge were the only side that looked like they were winning this game, and they did dominate the first part of the extra time, and Tom Derry it was who gave them the lead in the 97th minute, and that was enough for Tunbridge to hold on and cue pandemonium as the pitch invasion occurred, and absolute scenes at Invercourt if you're a Tunbridge fan, meaning they were promoted to the National League South. Going back to the Southern League South, we're going to focus on the teams who were relegated at the end of the season, who heartbreak it was for, and those teams were Basingstoke, Throom Town and Staines Town. So obviously we'll start with Staines. Obviously they're a rival of Hampton, and whilst a lot of our fans found this funny, it was it was terrible what was going on there. It's a really long story what was going on there. There's no signs of there's no end to the madness that was going on there. They lost the ownership of the ground to the Thames Club, and it just goes from one joke to another. The chairman changed himself to the bar because he didn't want to leave. It was just farcical, and as a result, a season that saw them concede 168 goals in 42 games, ended on just 12 points. I believe just one win all season. They were rock bottom with 12 points, and it wasn't looking good for them. In contrast, Froome didn't have a great season themselves either. All this was overshadowed, obviously, by Staines' even worse season. Froome finished on 37 points from 42, meaning they also dropped down to the tier below, to probably the Southern League's South Div 1. And the shock of them all, Basingstoke Town, the big name in that league, who arguably are one of the biggest sides in that step, they're now relegated and will be facing teams like, I believe, in the Southern South too, so they'll be facing Winchester. And it's just unbelievable story for Basingstoke, because they were so good, they were a real force at National South level. They dropped down, and was their last season at the Camrose as well, and it saw them end in defeat. But Basingstoke can count themselves somewhat unlucky, because I believe they weren't in the bottom three at any point in the season until the last day, and they were actually a massive relegation battle between nearly half the league. That was Basingstoke, Gosport, Tiverton, Wilton Casuals, Hendon, Dorchester, Wimborne. All those teams were in a relegation battle right up into the final day, and you couldn't tell who was going to be that was going down, but it was Basingstoke. They were the unlucky team. So that's about it for the Southern League South. Once again, congratulations to all the teams provided, to Weymouth, to Taunton. Commiserations to the teams that lost in the playoffs and the teams that have been relegated. But let's now move on to the Southern League Central. So the Southern League's Premier Division Central was won by Kettering Town, returning to the National League North after a short absence. So obviously Kettering are a big name at this level, at this level of the non-league. They obviously lost ownership of their ground, Rockingham Road. They lost the ground, which was destroyed. Have since been showing at Burton Park Wanderers, which isn't the greatest ground for them, but they apparently are looking to move back to Kettering, which is great news for them. And they're taking a step closer to that by getting promotion back to the National League North. So congratulations to them for that. They won it on 94 points, again, it was pretty convincing in the end. There was a little promotion battle going on between them, Kings Lynn and Stourbridge, but at the crucial point of the season they managed to pull through and win it convincingly in the end by 14 points, which is really impressive for them as well. That meant the playoffs were to be decided by Kings Lynn Town, Stourbridge, Alvechurch and Stratford Town, and this is very controversial, and you may have seen this on Non-League YT's video, which if I can remember to I'll leave a link to that in the description as well, because he explains that well in depth, and it was a pretty farcical situation which was going on. I'll try to explain it briefly. So it all started with the fact that Stratford were found to have filled in an ineligible player in one of their previous games prior to the playoffs, which meant that the games were postponed whilst the FA and the Southern League were pending further investigations, and this meant the games were put forward incredibly in a amount of times. I believe it was 5 or 6 times they were changed. It was a farce really, it was just a mess. Messed up the teams travelling, and it also ended up with Stourbridge having to give up home advantage because they actually shared the cricket and there was a game on there, so that means the game had to be switched to Alvechurch, and it was just madness. In the end, to conclude, Stratford were deducted 3 points. It meant they were still in the playoffs, and there were no danger of Colville overtaking them, so the playoffs were to be contested by Kingston Town against Stratford and Alvechurch against Stourbridge. And for the Kingston Town against Stratford game, Kingston managed to run out 3-1 winners. After going behind, they were comfortably managed to hold on for the win and go through to the final in the end. It was Taylor that gave Stratford the lead 35 minutes in, and there was a chance of a possible upset on, especially the team, the underdogs you could say, because they were the team that finished the lower position, that were obviously the team that had the points deducted. But Kingston came back fighting in the second half, and Hawkins has equalised in the 49th minute, just gave them strength and fight to go on forward, and the Coonan and Macaulay goal in the 61st and 77th minute respectively wrapped up the win for Kingston and sent them through to the playoff final. And the other semi-final took place between Alvechurch and Stourbridge, obviously Stourbridge having to give up home advantage due to the cricket, and Stourbridge are a fairly big name as well. They obviously had really good FA Cup record, got to the first one really load amount of time, which is really impressive. Alvechurch are obviously an up-and-coming club as well. I believe they've had 3 successive promotions, which is magnificent for them. Obviously, you may know that they haven't managed to achieve a 4th, but we'll get to that in a sec. This game, however, it was Mills that gave Stourbridge the lead from the spot on the stroke of half-time, giving them a good lead going into the second half. But it was Landau for Alvechurch that equalised in the 56th minute, and just 5 minutes after, Roberts made it 2-1, turning the game completely in Alvechurch's favour, and they managed to hold on, and they too were sent into the playoff final where they were faced Kings Lynn Town. And the final of the playoff final took place between Kings Lynn Town and Alvechurch, and there was no upset to be held here. Kings Lynn comfortably dispatched of Alvechurch 3-0, thanks to a goal from Adam Marriott, 2 goals from Adam Marriott, National League winning captain, National League winning player with Lincoln. A goal from him in the 10th minute and the 48th minute from the spot. Then in Michael Gash, who I believe is a former Norwich player, he's played in the Football League for a while, he's a good player for them at this level. Scored 5 minutes from time to put an end to it once and for all. Kingston finishing the season with a comfortable, convincing 3-0 win, sending them through to the Super Playoff final where they faced Warrington Town of the Northern Premier League. And the 3 teams that were relegated from the Southern League Central were decided fairly early on, and it wasn't really much of a battle going on here. The teams were fairly decided. The 3 of the teams were pretty crap to decide from the other teams in the division. Bottom of the league, though, it was Bedworth. He finished bottom on 19 points. Tricky season for them. It was very tricky, in fact, and it's culminated in them being relegated. And second from bottom was Hales Owen, who are a fairly big name. Obviously played at National North level, and they finished second bottom on 32 points, which was just 4 points behind St Neots in 20th on 36. So actually, just before they got relegated, they were a few points adrift. They did put a statement out saying they were only going to fill their youth team, the academy, because they were having money trouble, which is a shame to hear, and that has also culminated in them being relegated, and it could be a tough season next season for them as well. So all the best for them, but it's not looking good for them as things stand. And that's going to be about it for the Southern League Central. Congratulations to everyone that's gone up, and commiserations to anyone that's missed out or gone down via relegation. But now let's move on to the Northern Premier League. Moving on to the Northern Premier League, and first off, for promotion for the title, there was a massive 3-team battle going on between Farsley, South Shields and Warrington Town. So 3 teams were fighting it out right until, I believe, the penultimate game of the season, where Warrington slid away. They missed up, meaning that was only a 2-horse race going into the final game between Farsley and South Shields, where all 3 teams deserved to go up, because they were all magnificent throughout the course of the season. But it was Farsley that showed the upper quality, and it was them who got promoted via the title, finished on 90 points, ahead of 3 points of the South Shields in second in the end. They won the title and they've gone back up to the National North. Congratulations to them. So the playoffs were contested by South Shields, Warrington, Nantwich and Buxton. South Shields went up against Buxton and Warrington Town went up against Nantwich in order for a chance to join Farsley in the National League North. But just before I get on with the playoffs, it also has to be addressed the situation at North Ferriby United, who I believe they folded, their record was expunged, they were wound up in the High Court just, I believe, a month and a half or a month or 2 months before the end of the season, which was sad to hear, really sad to hear. Over 8,000 debt, I believe, which is nothing compared to some of the money earned in the Premier League, I know, but it was really a shame to hear that, because they were a nice club. It was not long ago they were at National League level, playing the likes of Tranmere, for example. So, real sad to hear, but the good news is they are on the up. A new Phoenix club has been formed, and I believe they'll start in the Northern Counties East League for next season, so that's 2 levels below this current level. So, good luck to them for next season, all the best. I hope it all goes well for them. Moving on to the playoffs now, however, so South Shields went up against Buxton, and there was the Shields from the North East that managed to shot out 4-2 winners over their Derbyshire counterparts. It was Buxton, however, who took a good start in going into this game in the 29th minute, as Girolamo gave them the lead just half an hour. The game was just half an hour old, and they would stay that way until half time. In the second half, however, South Shields came out a completely different team and came out fighting, as a goal from John Shaw, who's played for Gateshead, I believe, is a good striker at this level, along with Carl Finnegan, who's got a lot of goals in him as well. 2 goals in a minute for them, turn the game completely in their favour, and just as he thought things couldn't get any worse for Buxton, in the 61st minute, Dean was showed a second yellow card, meaning Buxton's task was getting even harder. Or was it? As Pritchard in the 65th minute equalled out to Buxton, even though they had 10 men, meaning they still had a chance of this. They were still going for it as well. However, South Shields punished them as well for having the extra man, which made it count. And Mason's goal in the 71st minute made it 3-2. And Buxton, well, obviously had to go for it at this point, and they were caught out at the back, especially with the extra man. And Gillies in the 89th minute put it to bed once and for all and sent South Shields into the playoff final. But who will they be joined by? And that was either obviously going to be Warrington Town or Nantwich. And again, it was the away side that took the lead. In the 26th minute, Nantwich took the lead, and they did stay that way till half time. But yet again, as is the pattern for most of these teams, the home team come up fighting after half time, and they completely turned the game around. And a double goal from Garrity for Warrington, the 55th and 76th minute, turned it around for Warrington. Then an 87th minute goal from Dunn looked to have ended it once and for all. And that was pretty much confirmed in the 93rd minute, as in frustration, Barnes for Nantwich was shown a second yellow card, meaning Nantwich finished with 10 men, and just a minute later, Gray finished off once and for all for Warrington, making it 4-1, meaning they were to join South Shields in the North East for the playoff final. So South Shields went up against Warrington in the North East for a chance to go into the final, into the National League North, and face Kingston for the place in the National League North. And it was South Shields that took the lead on the half-hour mark, as Gillies made it 1-0, the hero from the last game, made it 1-0, put himself in a comfortable position. However, Vassallo for Warrington after the break in the 67th minute equalised for them, making it anyone's game. Both teams are going out for a winner, but it was Warrington that nicked it 3 minutes in time as a miss fired in for Warrington, meaning they sent through to the Super Playoff final, where they would face Kingston for a place in the National League North. And this playoff final, like the other one, went to extra time and also finished 3-2 to the away side. So Richards gave Kingston the lead in the 16th minute after a good start for Kingston. They were looking promising in this game, and they rightly deservedly took the lead in the 16th minute. However, they were pegged back almost instantly, and just 2 minutes later, Garrity equalised for Warrington, making it 1-1, and that's how it stayed until the break. And after the break, Garrity was on the score sheet yet again in the 59th minute as he fired home for Warrington, making it 2-1. And just when it looked like they were going to hold on, just like the Met Police and Tunbridge game, in almost the same minute as well, Marriott had a penalty 5 minutes from time for Kingston, and he buried it, making it 2-2 going into extra time. And just when after in extra time, things were going either side's way, both teams were looking dangerous, and just when it looked like it was going to go to penalties, 5 minutes from time, Michael Gash was the man who fired home for Kingston and put it into the net, making it 3-2 to Kingston, and it stayed that way, and Kingston secured promotion back to the National League North. Obviously the former Kingston were in there, so this is Kingston Town's first time back in the National North. Congratulations to them, good luck to them next season, commiserations to Warrington. Moving on to relegation from the Northern Premier, obviously you heard about North Ferriby's expulsion, so this meant there was just 2 relegation spots up for grabs going into the end of the regular season. And it was Workington, the big name who were in the National League North, obviously in the former Football League as well, that dropped out of the Northern Premier League and finished effectively bottom on 29 points in the 40 games now, minus North Ferriby. And they were also joined by Marine from Liverpool, as they finished on 40 points in 40 games, or averaging only a draw a game, which obviously isn't good enough, apparently. Not apparently, but definitely isn't good enough. But it only just went down. It was really tight on the end of the season, because only 2 points separated Marine in 20th and Bamford Bridge in 16th. So anyone could have gone down, but with Marine, that was the unlucky one. That's about it from the Northern Premier League. Commiserations to anyone that's gone down or missed out on promotion. Congratulations to Kingston who have gone up. But now let's move on finally to the Isthmian Premier League. So the Isthmian Premier League was won by Dorking Wanderers convincingly in the end, very, very convincingly, has to be said, by a massive, massive margin of 22 points in the end, very convincingly for Dorking in the end. There was a promotion battle going on between them and Haringey, but Haringey sticked away massively and ended up finishing third. Carl Shorten Athletic actually ended up finishing second in the end. Dorking finished top, however, on 93. That meant the playoffs were to be contested by Carl Shorten and Merston going up against each other, and Haringey Borough and Tunbridge Angels. So the first semi-final was between Haringey Borough and Tunbridge Angels at Coles Park in North London, and it was the Angels that ran up 2-1 winners. After a dominant first half performance from the Angels, goals from Adam Ramadan in the 35th minute and Chinedu McKenzie in the 43rd minute put them in a real comfortable position. Then a dubious penalty in the 53rd minute was given to Haringey. Oyinunga, however, nonetheless tapped up and buried it, and Tunbridge had to hold on here, and they did in the end. Haringey, despite the pressure, to no avail. Tunbridge won on the night and were sent through to the playoff final for a chance to face into the super final and get promotion to the National South. And they were joined in the final by Merston, who won 2-1 away at Carshalton Athletic. Walter Figueroa gave Merston the lead just 2 minutes in. Brilliant start for them, ideal start. However, Peter Adeni for Carshalton equalised in the 17th minute, making it a fairly even game. We can go either way at this point. Second half was fairly even. Both sides could have gone on it, but it was Merston that nicked it in the 79th minute. Thanks to a goal from Samuels, and they think holding on for 11 minutes, I think they could hold on and get through to the final, and they did just that. And that was pretty much, and any chances of a short one come back, but pretty much ended in the 85th minute as Omar Karoma was shown a straight red for a bad challenge on the Merston player, and Merston held on and was sent through to the final to face Tunbridge Angels. And the final would take place between Tunbridge Angels and Merston at Longmead, and Chinedu McKenzie gave Tunbridge a great start 34 minutes in as he buried it into the corner after a brilliant run and giving Tunbridge a good lead. In the 41st minute, however, things took a bit of a sour turn as 2 players were shown red cards, one Tunbridge and one Merston. Sonny Miles for Tunbridge and Ollie Cook for Merston. Controversial to say the least. I've seen it back. I think the Merston player did deserve to get a red, but Miles for Tunbridge didn't really do much, and it was a bit harsh. You feel a bit hard done by that, but to be fair. However, Tunbridge were holding on for this, looking to hold on for this when they couldn't really finish their chances. Merston were trying to get into it, but they didn't really create much. And in the 90th minute, a Joe Turner penalty buried it for Tunbridge, confirming their place in the National League South Super Playoff final for the National League South, meaning that Merston's chances were gone. Tunbridge were through to the Super Playoff final and they were to face Met Police. Obviously I've gone through this now in my Met Police one. You know what happened, Tunbridge won 3-2. Topsy-turvy game, I'll just go through it again quickly. Met Police leading twice. A goal 5 minutes time from Deshaun Fieldwater for Tunbridge, sent it into extra time, and a Tom Dowie goal in the 97th minute won it for Tunbridge. They hold on for their place and they were promoted to the National League South. Moving on to the 3 teams that are relegated from the National League South for this season, and they were Harlow Town bottom on 34 points, Burgess Hill on 37, and Whitehawk on 41. So start off with Whitehawk, they've obviously gone straight through from the National South, 2 successive relegations, not nice to see. They've got a decent fan base as well, very passionate fan base, make a lot of noise with their little instruments as well, so fair, unlucky for them, good luck for them next season. Burgess Hill too are a team that have struggled for a number of years now. I think they've always just about survived in the final day or either been reprieved. This year, however, they have been caught and they will be going down. And Harlow, bottom of the league, who have been the worst performing team of the season, 107 goals conceded, is pretty dire. They're conceding 9 to Worthing, I believe, 7 to Wingate. It's not great, and they have rightfully been relegated. It's unfortunate though that, as you said, played them in the FA Trophy last season. We demolished them 5-1 as well, but not nice to see. But all the best for them next season. 3 teams that have gone down. Wingate did survive on the final day in the end by 2 points ahead of Whitehawk. Just about in the end, they could have gone down as well, but they have survived. Congratulations to them. And that's going to be it for the Isthmian Premier League. Congratulations to Dorking and Tunbridge and being promotion. We'll see you next season at Hampton. And commiserations to anyone that's missed out and anyone that's been relegated. And that's going to be about it for this video. I hope you really enjoyed this video. Something different from my usual content. Leave it a like, comment your thoughts on the leagues below, who you think could pose a surprise to the leagues next season. And also don't forget to DM me on Twitter if you want to get involved in my National League South end of season review. Get as many people from any teams that I support the National League South involved, would be great to see. Leave a like if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe, turn notifications on, and I'll see you for my next video very, very soon.